Welcome back to Ayaz Tech. My name is Ayaz Zafar. In this video, I will show you how to create an HTML CSS website from the PSD file. So this is the Photoshop file that we have, and we are going to convert it into the HTML CSS design. So I will purely use HTML CSS, no other libraries. I will not use any Bootstrap or any JavaScript. So this would be a pure static HTML CSS website. So before we begin, please make sure that you already have subscribed to my YouTube channel and clicked on the bell icon so that you don't miss any notifications from my YouTube channel. So let's begin. So as you see, this is the design. Now I have the VS Code in front of me. This is an empty project. I'm going to create a new file by right clicking on here and type index.html. So in this file, by the way, I highly recommend you to use the VS Code as your editor to write your code. So now you need to add the basics HTML code to start your coding. So type HTML5, and this will. So this is a actually very useful short trick that you can use. If you type HTML5, then it is showing you some suggestions. So in these suggestions, if you select HTML colon 5 and press enter, then it will give you a lot of chunk of code. That is the default code that everybody needs before starting a project. So here you need to enter the title. You can type any title. I'm going to use a Yaztech. And so this is the body where we will add all of our design code. Next, we need some folder structure, like we need an assets folder. In the assets, we need another folder, CSS, and we need another folder, images. So that's all for now. In the CSS, we need another file, style.css. And now we need to link that style sheet with our HTML page. So for that, type link href, type the path of the CSS file. Now type the relation style sheet. Okay, now our CSS file has been linked with our HTML page successfully. Now we can start writing styles. First of all, we need uh, header, then container, and then the footer. So div id header, and also we need div footer, and in the middle of these two divs we need div content. Okay, so now in the header we need two columns, one for the logo and second for the menu items. And in the footer, let's see what is the structure that we need. So in the footer, we need two columns, one for the logo and one for the another link on the right side. So okay, you can use any naming convention if you want. So it's up to you. All right. Now let's take this logo from this PSD file. By the way, you might have noticed that this I am using a website, but this app or tool looks like a Photoshop. So this is a very useful tool. So if you want to edit a Photoshop file, or if you want to use Photoshop and you don't have Photoshop in your computer, for example, you are on Mac, you know that Photoshop is not available. So in that case, if you really need a Photoshop, you can use this tool. This is online free available Photoshop tool. So I mostly use it if I need Photoshop. So I opened this PSD file here, and now I can see all of the content of this PSD file in this editor. All right, so now I need the logo. I will click here, and this is a logo. Let's see how to extract that logo. Uh, yeah, this is the logo. So I need to extract this logo somehow. So I am selecting it, and I will press Command or Control C, and or sorry. Now I need a new file in the Photoshop. So okay, I just pasted the logo. I uncheck this background white color because we don't need a background color behind the logo. So remove that. I need to crop it because there is a lot of extra white space around it. So find the crop tool and select it. Okay. All right, press enter. And this way you have a cropped logo. Now we have to export it. Export as PNG. Click on the save button. Now I need to move this PNG file into my project. So let's try that. Hmm. So I have opened the folder where all files are available. And now also open the folder where this project exists. So we need to paste the image in this folder. Okay, I can see image here. Now I'm going to rename this image. So, so I'm going to add the image tag for that logo and save it. Now let's see how it looks like. So, okay, so this is how it looks like so far. All right. So another thing that we need is that we don't want 100% width for our content. You can see that it is now touching the edges of the body. We need a maximum width for the container, for the content. So I'm going to create a div with a class. We can call it container, and we'll take the logo and the menu items divs inside the container. And now I'm going to add some styles to this container class. So I will add the maximum width, actually maximum width like this. Or you can add the width instead of maximum width so that we can use margin auto to bring it into the center of the layout. Okay, so now in the header, I want some padding on the top. So in this way, you can check the gap from top to the bottom between the logo and the top edge. So there, as you can see in the edge section, it is showing that the margin top or padding top is 36 pixels. So I'm going to use the same padding for the header. Okay. Now we need the menu items on the right side. These are work, about, blog, and contact. So in then we have about, blog, and the contact. Okay. Now we need to change the styles to make it look better, like in this Photoshop file. So for that, I need to add another div inside the container. I will call it div header content, and in the CSS I will use header content, and I will use the flex styles, display flex. And so with the display flex, let's see if there is any difference. So with the display flex, now it is in one line instead of two lines. Now, so now I want to push the menu items to the right side of the layout. For that, let's try some styles of the flex. In the header content, we have justify content and we have the space between. So this is a very useful CSS property that it helps a lot. So we will use that, justify content space between. Okay. Next, we need to change the styling. Okay. The font size is 15 pixels. Mm, okay. I don't have this exact font, but I will use some use a font that is matching, that is almost similar. So, for example, I would use font family. Let's see which options we have available. Let's use sans serif for now. Okay, so now I need to change the color. You can pick the color from the top section, click here, and you have the color code, copy that, and type hash and the color code. Now reload the browser, and you can see color has been changed. Now we need to remove the text decoration of the links. For that, type text decoration, none. Okay. Now we need some add some gap between these links. For that, we can use padding left and right. Okay. So another difference that we need to add is we need to capitalize all of the characters, all of the letters of the menu items. So add font text transform uppercase, that will capitalize all of the letters like this. Okay. Now, next thing I feel that I should do is that in this Photoshop file, you can see that these menu items are uh, aligned center vertically. So, but in our website, it is aligned to the top of the logo. So we need to do the same. So let's try that with the help of the flex layout. So you can see that this is the highlighted area for the menu items, but menu items are on the aligned to the top. So for that, click on the menu items. We will add some styles, for example, display flex, and here align items center. So this way you will notice that now all of these menu items are aligned center vertically. So now we are sure that these styles are going to work. So I'm going to copy these styles and I will paste in the menu items selector. Okay. All right. So I guess our header section is almost done. Now we are moving downward. Here, this is, we can call this section banner. Okay. And in the banner, we need a div container, a div with a class container, so that we can add a width, and in this we need two columns with the 50% width. So 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 I used a class with the name banner call main column. So we are going to have two columns, and I'm going to create another div banner content. Actually, I guess we don't need the banner content. We can bring the banner div inside the container. Okay, now I need a I need a heading. So if you click here, so make sure you have selected the auto select option from the top. So the benefit of this option is that whenever you click on anything, then it will select the relevant item or text or image or element on the right section in the layers. You can see I clicked on the artwork and it selected the artwork layer on the right side. If you select the work showcase, then it will select the work showcase in the right layers section. So I want to copy this text. So I clicked on this text and on the right side, it is highlighting that. I will double click on that. Uh, I will copy the text like this and I will, so as this is an heading, this is a heading. So I will use the heading tag H1. Actually, this way did not give me all the text. So instead of double clicking on this, you should double click on the T. So if you do that, it will select the text. Press Control or Command C and paste it. Now I'm going to reload it and see. Okay, by the way, we should use the same font family all of the in the entire layout. So instead of adding this font family here, I'm going to move it to the global level, like in the body selector, body and all. Actually, you can use, yeah, just add it to the body. Now let's see if that makes any difference. That did not make any difference. So actually, this is funny. I was using the class selector for the body, but the body is itself it is itself an element. So we don't need to add the dot. So okay, now it's working perfectly fine. So next, in the banner on the top, we need some padding top. So let's get the exact padding top. I'm selecting like this. So there is around 100. No, actually, there is 150 pixel padding top. Okay. Now I will use the display flex and for the banner all, I will use flex one. Okay. So the benefit of this style is that in the banner section, if you hover your mouse on these two section, it is taking 50% for every for each column. So there are two columns, so every column is taking 50% of the width. So that's what we want. And in the design, there is a line break after hello. So I am going to add that as well. And there is another line break after the creative. uh, I also need to make sure that font size is same as in this design. So I selected this section and it is saying that the font size is 60 pixels. So let's add the font size. and font weight should be bolder. And let's see. Okay, yeah, now it is looking better than before. All right. After that, on the right side, I need to add an image. So in this design, they're showing a placeholder for the image, but we need an actual image. So to get an image, there is a very nice website called Pexels, I guess. So in the pexels.com, they are offering a lot of free stock photos with the highest quality that you can use. So I use it mostly. So open Pexel and we will pick up uh, uh, pick up an image. For example, this is a portfolio website. So let me check if something is about portfolio here. So we need to, I will pick some beautiful pictures from here for the portfolio. I guess let's take this picture for now. Okay, picture has been downloaded. Now I want to move that picture into my VS Code. Okay, now I can use this image on the right side, on the right column, add an image tag, source attribute. In the assets images folder, there's a file portfolio.jpg. Okay, let's reload it and see. Okay, it is looking really bad. And the reason is that the image size is really large. So we need to control that. For that, mm, we need to add some styles in the banner call, image. The width should be, the maximum width should be 100%. So let's see if that works. Okay, that works. You can see that now image is displaying properly. So it is looking good so far. Next, below the heading of the banner, we need to add some paragraph like here. So let's select the text for the paragraph from here. Select this icon and double click on there and press Control A and Control C or Command A, Command C, and go back to your HTML file and in the below your heading type the p tag and in the p tag paste that paragraph and let's reload that. Uh, okay, so here we can see that on the right side of this section there is a padding, there is a small padding, but in our case there is very small padding on the right side, so we need to add some padding on the right of the first column. Also the line space of this text is a lot, but in our case the line space is very small, so we need to increase the line space as well. So let's try to add some padding right in our inspect element. Okay, I guess the padding right 25 pixel is sufficient. So I added another class in the banner column. So I will use that class Okay, to the first column, I have added the padding right. Now I need to add some line height. Oh, no. So the line height should be added to the paragraph. Okay, now it is looking great. Now, now we need to add a button like this. So, so let's try to find out the width of this button. The width and height of this button is actually we will not set a fixed width or height. We will just add padding left, right, and top, bottom. So let's add a button. As this is such a button that is being used in many places. So this is a common button. So we should create a style for to reuse for every button in the layout. So primary button, and here I will add some classes, some styles, padding left 20 pixels, padding right 20 pixels, padding. Actually, instead of adding a lot of lines, we can add a single line with all directions in it. For example, 20 pixels. Let's try 20 pixels for now, or maybe 10 pixels. So, and we need background color yellow. Actually, we need to take the exact color, exact yellow color code that is being used in the design. So let's come here and double click here, and you will see this is the color code that we need to use. Save it, and let's actually I cannot use this. So the text color should be black. And now I am going to add that button, primary button. And in this button, I will add a text that is send message. Now reload it. Okay, we have a button, but it is not looking great because the padding on the top is too much, but padding on the right side is very less. We need to increase the padding on the left and right, and we need to decrease the padding vertical. So instead of here 20, I will use 10 pixels, and here I will use 30 pixels. And we also need to remove the border around the button. Okay, yes, now it is looking much better. Maybe we need to increase the vertical padding a little bit, like 4 pixels maybe. Okay, that's fine. Now we need to add a cursor, because we are not using here an anchor tag, so that is why we have to add some cursor icon. Whenever you hover your mouse on the button, then a cursor should appear, and this time it is showing up. So a pointer cursor should be visible. So cursor pointer. Okay, you can see that now. If you hover your mouse on this button, then it will show you a hand icon or pointer icon. Now we also need to change the color a little bit or some effect on it when you hover your mouse. So let's try that. I also want a little bit animation when you hover your over your button. So to add an animation, add transition, all 0.4 as easy now. Now We want if somebody hover on our button, then the background color should become transparent and text color should become this specific yellow color. And uh, we also need to add border, but transparent by default. So if you user hover, then the border color should become yellow. Okay, now let's see. No, the text color should stay, I guess, black. So we should not change the text color. Actually, it is too fade. Maybe we should add, we should keep some background color, but with some opacity. So I'm going to change the color from the color picker. Okay, that's fine for now. Let's move forward. So next section is the work showcase. So here we will show some samples of our portfolio. So this is the main heading. These are the categories, and this is a drop-down menu, and these are the boxes to show the images. So I can call this container as so we can name it showcase. So in the showcase contain section, we need an heading. Okay. After the heading, we need the category section. And in the category section, we need another div, categories. And after that, we need another section, sorting dropdown. Okay. Because this dropdown will show the options to sort the order of the portfolio items. Now let's add some items for the category. So by default, the category all will be active. And other categories are branding, illustration, and web. So let's design these. Actually, you would have noticed that uh, all of the main headings have almost same styles, like this heading, and this heading. All these headings are have styles in common. So we can use a global, we can create a global style for these headings and we can reuse those stylings. So let's find out the headings section that we designed earlier. So this is the design that I made earlier. I am going to remove these selectors so that we can globally apply these styles. So whenever we will use H1, then H1 will take this style automatically. There's another strange thing that I can see when I open this, then it shows a strange animation in the width and height. So I need to change the transition that I added. So we want to uh, add transition only for the background color. Okay, that's fine now. Next, we need to, I guess, we need to add some padding top. So the showcase section should have padding top, 40 pixels maybe. Let's try that. Or maybe 60 pixels. We Another good idea is that you should add the comments in your CSS code that will help you to uh, understand your code better. So, and you can categorize your CSS code in a CSS file. So you should comment something like this. Showcase section start. And similarly, you can add a comment at the end. Showcase section end. Similarly, let's add these comments for other sections as well. Like here, this section is for the banner. And as this H1 does not belong to the banner anymore because this is a global property, I'm going to move it to the top. So we also need banner section end. Okay. This is also a global property. Our styles, we need to move them to the top. So here header section ends, so I will add header section ends. Okay. So we have added some comments. These comments would be helpful for us. I have added the padding top. Now I need to add, I need to change the style for the H1 text transform to the uppercase. Okay. Now let's style these categories section. So for the drop down, for now I will just add any random text or maybe the same text that is in the styles that is newest first. Okay. Now use this selector ID and add in the CSS file, display flex, and justify content space between. That will do all of the job. Okay, you can see that now both of these sections are aligned to the edges. So we also need to align these items in horizontally instead of vertically. For that, type categories, type display flex, and type nothing. All right. So for now, I'm going to add some temporary padding bottom so that I can see our section clearly. Okay. So now we need to add some padding on every category. Padding left 15, 14 pixels. Actually, maybe use single single property for the padding. 10 pixel, 40, 15 pixel, and let's see how it looks like. Okay, and we need to add a yellow color to the selected or active category. So you know that we already have added a selected proper class to the all category. So we will use dot active selector and we will add background color. This is the color that we used earlier. Okay, you can see that in the style, the padding, the vertical padding is less than the horizontal padding. So let's change that. Maybe we need to add 45 people, or maybe no, this is too much. It's 45. Let's try 25. And maybe we need to decrease the vertical padding. I guess that's fine. No, maybe I need to increase the padding for the vertical. Okay. So now whenever also we need to add the cursor pointer to all of these categories like this. And if you hover your mouse over any of these categories, then it should show the background yellow color. So we can do something like this. Okay, we are saying that if category has active class on it, or if category, if we are hovering over that category, then color of background color of that category should become yellow. So let's see. Okay, it is working perfectly, but we need to add some little bit transition for the background color so that it could look better. Transition, uh, background color 0.4 as easy note. Okay, you can see that it is smooth animation now. We also need a little bit margin so that if you hover your mouse on the category, then it should not uh, join each other. So I added margin right 2 pixels. Yeah, now it is looking great. All right. I think I also should add some hover styling on these links as well. If you hover your mouse on these, then it should show the it should change the text color to the yellow. So let's try that. Hmm. Okay, it is working, but uh, it is we need to add some transition here as well. Okay, maybe we add some text shadow uh, on hover. No, that is not looking good. I guess that's fine. Uh, by default, the color should be transparent so that it looks better. Because right now you can see that if I hover my mouse, then it a little bit moves, so that does not look good. So I'm going to add transparent color to the text shadow by default. Uh, maybe we should not use the text shadow at all. Without text shadow, it is the yellow color is too sharp that it does not look good. Maybe we should use the darker version of the yellow. I guess that's fine. So let's move on. So next we need to create these boxes and their styles for the showcase. So showcase items section, and here I will add some elements with the class showcase item, and I will copy paste these like this. Okay, now in the CSS I will refer to these elements to design them. So I will use the display flex, and so to the showcase item I want to add the display flex one property. And for now, let's add a background, gray background color. We will change that after adding an image there. Uh, height 300 pixels, maybe let's try that. Okay, but we need to add a margin maybe. flex gap. There is a property of the flex there. Let's try that. Mm, Let me find the property. Okay, so all right, you can see that it is looking great. So we need more gap than this one. So maybe instead of 4, we need 20 pixels maybe. Yeah, I guess 20 pixels is sufficient, but we need 3 columns per row. But so for that, we need to increase this value maybe. Mm, So let's try 30%. Okay, so after adding this flex 130%, we need to also add flex wrap. Right. Now let's reload it, and you can see that now we have 3 columns in every row. We also need to add padding top above the this section. Let's calculate the exact padding on the top from the Photoshop file, and we can see that padding top should be equal to the 68 pixels. Okay, yeah, now it is looking great. Now, next thing is that when you hover your mouse over any of these elements, then it should show a yellow layer over it. So let's add that. We can call it showcase item layer. And in that layer, I will add H3 maybe, artwork. And below that, I will add branding. I'm going to copy paste this selector, these elements so that I can reuse them. Okay. So by default, this layer should not be visible. So I'm going to hide them. So I will hide them in this way, but I will not hide them right now. I will hide them after completing the style. So first of all, we need background color, yellow. Next, we need to add display flex. And then we need to add justify content center and align item center. Let's see how it looks like. Okay. And we also need flex direction column so that we can have them vertically. And we also need the height 100 is equal to 100%. Okay, now we need to reduce the space between the main heading and the, so for that I will use the h3 tag. Okay, so I guess it is looking better. Uh, Next, I need to get the text size by clicking here, double click on that, and you can see that font size is 30 pixels with the extra bold. So, okay, so font weight, borders, okay. Now we need to also need to capitalize text transform. This style is not working, so let me check what is going on. Actually, instead of capitalize, I need to use the uppercase. Okay. I also need to get the font size for the branding section, that is 12 pixels. Okay. Now I need to hide all of them and display only if you hover your mouse over the item. So by default, add the opacity 0, and we will add the transition as well. Opacity 0.4 as easy now. Okay. So if you hover your mouse over the showcase item, then we should uh, change the opacity to the 1. Okay. So you can see if I hover my mouse on this, then it shows the layer in a nice way. So now it's time to add some images in these placeholders. So let us open the Excel again. So that's fine. Pictures. So let's take one of this picture and this one and this one. And this. So let's download them. Now let's move these pictures in our assets folder. Okay. I'm going to set some easy names to these pictures. Pick one, pick two, pick three, pick four. Okay. Now I'm going to use these pictures in these sections. So this showcase item, I will add style, background, image, URL, assets, images, pick one. And I will copy paste and then I will change the path later. Okay, let's try. Okay, now I need to improve the styles of these images, background images. Let's go back to the showcase item and I will add background, size, cover, background, position, center, and let's see how it looks like now. Yeah, now it looks better, but the one image is still missing. Maybe we need to add another. We need to get another one. Actually, let's get two more pictures from the pixel. Okay, I got two more pictures. I'm going to move them again in my VS Code like we did before. Now we have pick 5 and pick 6. Okay, so let's add them. I will copy paste this element two times and let's change these paths to use the latest pictures. Okay, so you can see it is working, but we can still improve it. The layer, the overlay should have the transparent yellow color instead of the this kind of color. So instead of this yellow, I can use a light shade of this yellow. RGBA, the color code 0.4. Let's try if that works. So that is not working. Instead of that, we need to add the color code, something like that. Okay, let's find out a similar yellow color from this. Hmm. Yeah, this is looking better than before now. Maybe we need to increase the opacity. Yeah, I guess this is better now. All right, so it is looking great. We should also add a pointer cursor when you hover on it. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. I also feel that the margin top above this should be higher than we have now. So I'm going to increase that as well. So this is not working. Why not? So let's see. Actually, that was working. That was a different section. Okay, I guess that is looking great now. Next, next we need to add the same button that we created earlier. So we can reuse the same styles but different text. So at the bottom, so in the showcases div, I will add another div and I will add a button with class primary button and show more text. Okay, now let's see how it looks like now. Okay, now I need to add a selector, an ID. We need to add padding top, and we also need to add the display flex, and we need to add justify content center to bring that button vertically in the center. Okay, yeah, now this is looking great. All right. After that, we need to add this section. If you look at this carefully, you might notice that there is a light background gray color. So I will add that. So these are the logos. So I will create another section with the name logos. So this time I don't need the logo section inside the container because container has a limited width. But for the logo container, I want it to the full width because you can see that the background gray color is touching to the boundaries. So I am going to move it outside of the container like this. And now I will add background color and then I will also use div dot container. So now let's add these images. I'm going to extract these images. Yeah, these are the partners. So double click on that and this will open the image for you. Maybe you can also extract from the existing, but actually, let's double click that and extract these partners. Select like this and c- Control C or Command C, and now click on the new button, press enter. I will click on the create button and paste the logo that we copied. That logo was not copied. So let us try to copy that again. No. So select the copy merge. That will give you all of the content within that selection. And now come here. I'm not able to copy it. So instead of spending time on this, I'm just going to remove the backgrounds that it has so that I could select the transparent logo right from here. So I selected that, Control C, and come here. It did not copy. Maybe let's try again and select the copy merged. And yeah, this time it worked. Remove the background color, and now I will export this image. Save, export as a PNG. Save. Okay. Now I will keep adding images like this. Copy this, select like this, and again in the edit section, click on the copy merged and paste that here. Remove the background color. Reduce the width and height a little bit. Okay. Now we also need to crop the extra white space. So click on the image and click on the crop. Now save it. Oh, I don't need the PSD files. That is mistake. I'm going to remove. Click on the export PNG and let's rename it again. Partner 2. And similarly, we need to keep going on to get all of the logos. Click on the copy merged again and paste here. Okay, that's fine. Now we need to export this as well. Click on the PNG again and save it and call it partner 3. Copy the fourth one. Click on the copy merged again and paste here. Right click on the free transform and reduce the width and height like this. Click on the export as, click on the PNG, click on the save, and let's rename that file again, partner 4. Let's select this one. Select copy merged again, paste it here, free transform, okay. Now click on the export as PNG again, click on the save, rename it to the partner file. I guess these are sufficient. So I'm going to move all of these partners into the VS Code. Okay. So now let's add these images. Two, three, four, five. Okay. We have the images now. We need to improve the styles a little bit. Let's add the background colors again, back again, because now we need to show them. So let's style in the inspect element, then we will copy those styles back to the CSS file to keep them. So here I am going to add display flex, justify content, space evenly. Yeah, this one is better. Okay, use this one and add it to the styles.css. Okay. In this container, I need to add another container, logos content, and I will use the logos content to add display flex. Okay, now I need to add the padding top. I also need to add a background color that is available here. So let's pick the background color. Uh, this is the background color that we need to use. This is a very light background color. Maybe you will not notice in this video. Mm, I'm going to increase the intensity of the background color. It's too light. No, um, I need to add the margin top and padding top button should be, I guess, 60 pixels maybe. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. And the color, let's make the background color lighter. I guess that's fine now. I want to add more padding top or margin top. Okay, now it's great. So logo section is also completed. Next, we need to complete about us section, our blog, and contact us section. I will cover these section in next episode. Thank you for watching.